Welcome everybody. It is that time of the week. It is the illustrious Infernal Drake and Dragon's Fury,
How y'all doing?
and we hope your week has been good. Your days have been short and your progress has been large, and what other inspirational things that can come to mind at this time.
And
Shout out to
hopefully you guys are doing some bullshit.
Shout out to everyone who has been continually supporting us through by listening. Um, we are fully active on the YouTubes. All of the episodes we record here on the Spotify gets ported over to YouTube. So let your friends know what you are listening to and enjoying, so that they can enjoy it as well. I do apologize because the episodes seem to have been out of whack right now, at least order wise, and I can't fix it because when I ported everything over, it was there in order, but then it switched the order based on me going back through and making it public, so it counted
Yeah,
as publishing, and I was like,
yeah.
this is fucking annoying. But I did
That,
it in order of the way that they were like recorded. So I don't know why they're still out of order. So it's like I opened them in order, but they're still out of order. Like I
it was
don't
pro-
know.
it was probably it was probably determined by how the publishing was finished, because obviously once it like edit and republish, there's always like a little bit of a delay in some cases. That happens on some of my old videos.
And yeah, so if things don't really add up, I do apologize if you are listening on the YouTubes. Just just listen to everything. It all makes sense eventually. Get those views up. Get those likes. That's really what it is. All you people who are viewing them videos over there, all like 15, 30 of you per video, all of you that aren't subscribed to the channel, I feel personally attacked, and I feel like we have built a relationship that is well enough off that you should subscribe to the channel. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So if you want me to not feel like I have my heart being stabbed every time I look at the YouTube
He's
channel,
heartbroken.
please subscribe. And for those who have, I love you.
As someone that did YouTube in the past, yeah, seeing the views, but no, not really any likes or subscribes. It's just like, ooh, that hurts the heart.
Funny you should say that. So the one of the topics of discussion and things that came to mind was a back in time
Oh boy.
piece, if you will. So obviously, because I've been on YouTube a lot lately, I went deep diving into a lot of our old crap.
Oh
And
Jesus.
when I tell you I miss the days of your YouTubing, I miss the days of your YouTubing.
Oh Jesus. What did you
You
find?
were so adorable.
God damn it.
You- Obviously, for those who don't know, we've worked hard, and it took a lot of teeth pulling to get Infernal to talk at the level that he talks now, and we're like
Yep.
season 3 of the show, right? Um, when I go back to his old videos, oh my god, it is the most anxiety inducing nervous wreck of a person sitting in front of the camera, and I love every bit of it. He's so adorable. And I'm
Yeah,
just so
no,
proud of how far he's come.
yeah, God damn, I'm just thinking back to like some of my old videos. Like it definitely helps like when like you play certain games like that keep your attention like even within and isolation. God, those
uh,
games were frustrating. But yeah, no, just like trying to keep a conversation going that's like not related to the game but also somewhat interesting. That God, no, that My brain got fried after so many recording sessions.
So adorable. What was it? What was the one I was watching? It's something the Infernal games. That's what it was.
Oh
That was the
God,
most confusing thing I have ever
yeah.
watched in my life.
I just did that for the hell of it, and I regretted uploading that thing.
Oh, I could tell it was just off of a whim, and I was like, "Oh, this is great."
Hell, did
what
you
was
have you ever seen the Rage Game one I did?
I think
Uh,
so, because this is not the first time I sick. It was just like certain ones. What was it? Oh, there was a league one you did with Sacred,
oh yeah,
and
those are
it.
fun.
What were you doing? I'm trying to remember,
It was
but
there was one for all and all for one.
yeah, it wasn't that. It was different people because you were trying to get hooked by Blitz because you were trying to do something. I don't remember what it was. I was too busy laughing at the anxiety you caused Sacred. Um, but you kept yelling like hook me," and he's like, Infernal no, please, Infernal God, like no, please don't."
Yeah.
Oh my god, it brought me so much joy.
Yeah, there was another one where like we were all Lulu and Saker just went like full attack speed AD Lulu and he just
Yes, I do
he,
remember that video of
he's just
just straight
just
up
melting Baron. I think it was Bard on the enemy team. Literally walks up, Saker just
looks at
turns
him.
two shot and then went back to Baron humming and everything. I'm like,
Yeah, back when on hit was viable for anyone.
yeah,
Um and it was, oh man, I yeah, no, those were some funness. And of course, we can't talk about a time machine video without the hamster ball coming up.
yeah,
Oh, that is such. So to give context, because the video is up somewhere. I can't remember if it's deep in the YouTube or it's hidden away somewhere in the Twitch videos. I'm thinking it's somewhere in the Twitch videos.
you gotta
Um,
find it to upload to YouTube.
yeah, eventually. And so we were playing Fortnite, and this was back when me and Infernal were living together. And I didn't have my setup that I have now, and so I was on a gaming laptop. So for all intents and purposes, doing well for what we need to play because I was only playing League and Fortnite at the time, nothing crazy. And what I didn't know was that my laptop had an interesting feature that I never turned off. Thankfully, I didn't turn it off. And for those who are more technologically inclined or just look through their settings more, Nvidia has a audio recording setting of when you're in your games. So if you have a mic of any kind set up, it basically turns your mic into a hot mic based off of a certain threshold, and if you're playing a certain game, and it will save a recording of your what you're doing, as well as so video and audio of a recording, depending on like what it does. And it's usually based off of the system of the game. So in like Fortnite, they have their own like clip system of recording, so it kind of based it off of that, of like a highlight of like what was happening. So when action like really picked up, it would start recording in the background and like save the file to a designated folder. Technical bullshit. So we were doing what we do, which is just dick around. And for our Fortnite fans, they had a transportation vehicle that was a hamster ball. A hamster ball, gyroscopically stable. You're driving in it, and you're always stable with a plunger attached to the front.
Yeah.
And that is how you got around. So you would throw out the plunger, it would stick to a surface, and it would propel you whichever directions, because there was like they have like mild boosters on it, and it helped you go and whatever, right? So we're just going around, blah blah blah, and this was during the season when the volcano had erupted, and caused geysers to be around the map. Stay with me. Some of you already know where this is going. And for anyone who has joined the Patreon and have seen our gameplay videos, you will know that when me and Infernal are in the same game, all the brain cells check out, and there's effectively only 2 active at any given point.
Most time 1.
And they're never in the same head at the same time.
Yeah, they're shared.
It's at best 2 brain cells being shared. And so we were just driving around, doing whatever. The ring's kind of like closing in on us, and we're just doing what we do, having fun. I get the brilliant idea of limit testing. So I was like, hey, can we stick to each other, like in tandem? Because I already knew you can stick to one at a time, and then like one's leading you and you're kind of attached to the other one. But I didn't test if you could in tandem be attached. So I was like, let's do it. And the experiment went well. We attached to each other and we started playing tug of war. Then I got another great idea.
I was trying to like run away because he's trying to stick my ass. I'm like, stop it.
Yes. This experiment was not consensual.
It was not.
It was not a consensual experiment.
And then it's like, all right, revenge.
So yes. So you wanted revenge. So he started playing tug of war with me, and so we're playing tug of war. And now, for whatever reason, Infernal seems to be very adept at hamster ball tug of war. So I am losing badly. And I am trying to make my escape now. And he's not having it. I make my escape towards a geyser. And I said my infamous words of, I wonder if. Now, sidebar. When I say these words, usually something bad happens. Not necessarily to me, but something bad happens to someone. And it usually is, as Infernal so graciously put it, game over. Someone dies. In Apex, someone dies from a sniper shot. In Fortnite, I've turned something into a sniper that isn't a sniper, and then I die because they took it personally.
And you attack someone with a shotgun from halfway across the map.
Yeah, and then they took it personally and shoot me in the face with a sniper. It is what it is. Someone always dies when I say those words. And so, obviously, game mechanics take over and I get launched up. Now, being attached to my pursuer, he kind of comes too. Again, game mechanics. It makes sense.
I don't want to be on this ride.
And so, again, a non-consensual experiment. I do apologize. It's all about consent. But at this time, I did not care about his feelings. I was just trying to do what I was trying to do. And so now I get the brilliant idea again to rotate and keep rotating. So now we are spinning around each other, and then physics kicked in. So what happens when 2 things in motion are connected to each other and continually keep motion? They go faster and faster and faster and faster. And
they don't know when to stop.
And so much so that the game gave up, and our tethers pretty much just kind of spaghetti noodled and yeeted me into the sunset Team Rocket style.
Yeah, no, you were flying. I'm just like, what the hell did you go?
And so I go flying off the map. Now, what made this clip so crazy is that, as you may be able to tell, I tend to have a very dynamic way of speaking. And I tend to be a bit overzealous in my volume, if you will.
Dramatic.
And very, very dramatic. It comes from my teaching background. That's just how I keep my kids entertained, is just being unnecessarily dramatic. Because, like, let's be real, you can turn anything that's boring into something hilariously entertaining if you just make it dramatic enough, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's just how I am and how I tell stories. So when this is occurring, all you hear is me screaming. And it's
Yeah,
me screaming directly into the mic, and then
the
an
mic kind of gave
echo
up
coming
sometimes.
through Infernal side. Because it's just like, oh my god, oh my god, what's going on? Ah! Real, like, goat style of the meme. And I wasn't expecting to have video evidence of this occurrence, right? And that's really what got me, is because my own computer betrayed me and exposed me in such a horrific manner. Two of which I died laughing so hard, edited it down, and then put it on the internet, because why the hell not? And here I am talking about it again. So now it's in another place of recorded media that I'm a absolute moron. And
Yeah,
yeah.
all the proof is there.
And all the proofs there. And that being said, Mermaid still stuck around, and almost 3 years later, here we are. How does that make you feel, hun?
You scream like that all the time.
Yeah, see, she's used to it. See, it works out.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. She's just accepted it.
Yeah,
In my great, and in my benefit, she's accepted it. Thankfully. Also, we don't have
You're so gay. You love your wife? That's homosexual.
Oh my god, I can't wait to listen to this back to see if that even picked up. Because if it didn't, I'm just busting out laughing to a hilarious statement that Mermaid said.
Yeah, I didn't pick it up on my end, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's just me laughing like crazy.
Nothing new there.
So yeah,
Girl didn't hear it.
yeah. No, it didn't fully come through.
Well,
Well, yep. It was said.
Mermaid is for subscriber content only.
That's pretty much it. Like if you want more Mermaid, you gotta subscribe. That's where she partakes more of the show.
I know you guys been getting into that RuneScape.
Yeah, she's been getting into RuneScape. That's her deal. That is all her. She has another playthrough video coming at one point. I think in like a week or two, she wants to do that. So if you want to see that and hang out with her, subscribe to the Patreon. Yeah. So another thing that I had. So I had a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about, which is definitely going to go into a Patreon episode, because I just had a bunch of stuff. But another one was, because I know I told you, because when I did it, I sent you the picture in the Discord. But the Skyrim Master Quest, that endeavor I'm going on, has been the greatest thing ever. There is a giveaway happening. And yeah, I have another stream thing going on, and so it's a giveaway happening going on in the background. Gotta support the support. That's how you support your people who are supporting you. And so
right there.
So I've come to terms with not being a demigod anymore. I'm just a regular
how could you
anime main character. I'm not an OP anime character. I'm just the main character.
You're the main character's friend.
Yeah. Because for my fellow Elder Scrolls Skyrim fans, the exploit, glitch, however you want to label it, that was around in earlier Skyrim has been patched finally. I think it was 2 to 3 patches ago.
Which
and
one was that? There were a couple.
And that's why I say it comes through the. I don't remember, because there's only been 2 or 3 major ones of late, and and that's when I realized that my demigodhood was taken from me. And I was hurt. I was hurt and I was upset. And, like, I actually didn't play that character for a while. Like, I just played my modded character for a little bit more than I usually do because I was just like, I don't like not having my godhood. And the reason for that was because the way that I built that character for being a demigod was completely based around the sole thing of what I was, quote-unquote, using the exploit for, which was destruction magic. And it sustained me fully. So it's like, obviously, destruction magic being for damage, but they had added spells that allowed you to basically lifesteal. So it was a destruction spell. So I could heal myself in combat while still using all of my abilities with no problem. And then if I wanted to, I could switch spells and have like a stupid mana pool for the higher level spells, and I could use those more and then switch back, switch through between the magic and whatever to, do the fight or whatever that I'm doing at the time. And the way I built that character, I had 0 cost on destruction. So I could just spam everything, no problem. Because I had gotten everything over 100% reduction. And now they nerfed me, and I think I'm at, in the 60, 70 range. If I did the math right, if I'm remembering the math right, that's as high as it, like, that's where they capped it at. Of my pieces.
That's interesting.
And so I'm like, now I don't know if with all of the new changes and whatnot, if there's stronger potions that naturally occur that you can make to get the percentage higher. Obviously not to the levels that I had it at. I don't know. I don't feel like going through that process again because it was a pain in the ass.
That's a lot of math.
Yeah, it's a lot of math and a lot of, like, alchemy and timing and, like, being sure you do everything right. And it was a lot of setup, and I just don't want to do it. But I ended up coming to terms with it and just kind of basically just accepting the fact that I can't just haphazardly go in the fights. That being said, I still am a high-level battle mage. And by high level, I mean I'm in the 60s. Which means every dragon is an ancient dragon.
Which is just terrifying, especially when you have like more than one coming at you.
Yeah. And unfortunately, last time I was in the realm, I didn't have was it Spellbreaker?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah, I didn't have Spellbreaker with me. So I had to fight this motherfucker the old-fashioned way. With
Fisticuffs.
hope it essentially was a lot of screaming and a lot of hiding behind a pillar, right? Now, the reason why I'm out here fighting this dragon, which in any other circumstance I would be avoiding, was because I was doing the Alteration Master Quest. And the Alteration Master Quest required you to get dragon scales.
Really?
They're not okay, so they're dragon scales, but they're not dragon scales. They're called heart scales, but they're basically dragon scales. So essentially what you're doing is using a dagger that's sharp enough to basically damage a dragon skeleton or a dragon in general. And it was a dagger from a dragon priest that, hilariously enough, I already fucking had. So this is one of those things of where it's like the universe fucking hates me. So I'm looking up on the wiki. I was like, okay, where do I find this dagger? And it's like a random drop amongst, the dungeon areas or whatever. So I was like, okay, let me go look at one of the ones that are on the list that I have unlocked. And so I go there, right? I go in there and I'm like, I go through, I do the thing, whatever. It's a place I hadn't cleared because I go in and I find the Word of Power. And I was like, cool. But the dagger's not in there. And I was like, all right. And I go looking and I was like, okay, beforehand, I was like, do I have this dagger? And so I go looking in my house. I'm looking through all my chests where I keep all my my various chests that I keep my weapons. and because I have a stupid
All
amount
the
of them.
chests.
All of the chests. And then I was like, okay, but I'm strategically thinking about this. There's only one of two places that it could be, and it's like in this house or it's at the mage college, because that's where my first base was when I was building the character. So I'm doing all of this stuff, and I'm looking, and I was like, okay, I can't find it at the college. Okay, I can't find it in my house. I don't think I have it, right? Now, I go through dungeon, and it's like, whatever. What I don't understand is how my dumb ass looked over it in my own fucking inventory.
Oh, I can believe it.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Like, damn, I'm already admitting to my tomfoolery. You didn't have to go rub it in. Like, Jesus Christ. Fuck.
Man, they call me a hoarder.
No, you are a hoarder. There's just not enough money in Skyrim for me to sell it to. I have actively been trying to get rid of my shit. You are like, what if I need it? Or, hey, it's shiny. You're a hoarder.
I mean, there are times where I do need it later on.
You're correct. But those aren't the things that are really usually cluttering up your stuff. It's the useless things, like a broom that just happened to look like a president's face or something.
Held a broom.
Yeah, don't believe me.
Don't believe me? Okay.
Don't believe me. No, don't believe me. But yeah, no, you totally have had a broom. You totally have had a shovel. You probably had like a fork or something. Like,
never had a fork, actually.
Just like, there's like some lobster or something, whatever. I don't know. You have a bunch of random shit that, like, things that I wouldn't even know existed if it wasn't for you. Like, that's the only, like, give out of this, is that, hey, I've discovered there's an item that exists in this game. Why? Because it's in Infernal's inventory when I'm just, like, trolling through his stuff because I'm playing on his account because I have nothing better to do because he's working.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so, yeah, it was like that. So I'm like, really? This thing's on here. And so I had to go find a dragon. And so I went to a dragon spire that I hadn't been to yet, and there he was, ancient dragon. Because the dragon that I attacked before I went into the dungeon and came out disappeared. But God forbid the dragon that is just in a city outside ever disappears. Like, what? It decides to reset out here, but it doesn't want to reset in there. But okay, who am I to question Skyrim's
having
logic?
A torching dragon on a torch.
No, of course having a torching dragon on a torch is the preferred method, because then I could go in and get the heart scales off of its torquing ass and then move about my business. But yeah, so I
would have preferred not to be there.
So I get the item, and then it takes me for fucking ever to find the guy again. So I go and find him, and he gives me the book, and then like I showed you, it gives me basically a 90% armor as a spell. And I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Oh, the armor.
Yeah, it is like all the armor. I was like, yo, this was definitely worth it. And then I went and did the conjuration quest, because for some reason I didn't do it on this walkthrough. I thought I did, but I didn't. So I went and go bitch slapped a Daedra a couple times, and
oh yeah, because that's casual.
Yeah, you know, you don't bitch slap a Daedra on top of a school building. I thought everybody did.
I prefer not to, but you know, because most of the time I've been thrown off that damn building.
I'm just weird, I guess.
After that sound, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Don't know where that sound came from. Don't plan to try to do it again, but I cannot say it won't happen again. And so next up on the list is the illusion quest. But that one's going to take some time because I think my illusion is only in like, I think in the 40s?
Out of all the schools, which would you say is the hardest to level up?
Illusion.
Okay.
Because, so, like, obviously Destruction's the easiest because it's combat. Second easiest would be Restoration. And then third would be Okay, actually, let me depend. Okay, depending on which way you decide you want to level them up. So destruction, obvious, is number one, hands down. Restoration and conjuration are for second, depending on what you do. Because if you choose to fight with the bound weapons, then you're getting conjuration as well as your martial skills, and that's always a bonus. And I think the rate for XP on the martial classes is easier than it is for the master ones, because the procking of XP is anything you hit. It doesn't matter its level. Magic, it depends on the level of what you use for to proc for your experience gain and how much you get. Same with like locks, not, is it lock picking? Yeah, lock picking. If you gain more experience from failing than you do from success, which is
That makes
crazy to me. Like, it kind of makes sense because it's like, oh, trial and error. The more practice you get, the more experience you have of it, kind of deal. So like, it kind of makes sense, and like if you look at it that way. But but otherwise, it doesn't really make too much sense. So I would obviously, so destruction and then restoration and conjuration, mainly because due to the conjuration weapons, you're getting XP for the length of the spell. So it's not just a one-time cast. Say like if you want to do a summoning, if you want to do a resurrection, you get XP on the initial cast, and I don't think it really like gives you too much for the whatever you resurrected being alive. You do get a lot more for the failure. So if you try to resurrect a higher level monster or body with a lower spell, it goes much faster. And that's like one of the tricks for leveling up conjuration, is to just get like a high level dead body and just spam the low ranking necromancy spell, and just do that a bunch, and you'll fly through the levels like nothing. Then it's alteration, because you can spam the spells on yourself. You don't have to go find something, and you don't have to worry about like pissing anyone off like other schools.
Like what you normally do.
Quiet you. And then I would say illusion is, and that's why I say illusion is the hardest one, because like so it's what the spells are in the illusion class that make it difficult to level. So like clairvoyance only works when you have an active quest, right? And so if you're not really like making an effort to quest at that time, clairvoyance really doesn't help. Yes, I guess you could cheese it by like having a quest marker and then it just showing you the area, but it really goes into effect of following the path. Like you're effectively using the spell by following the path.
So it doesn't work.
It's go.
Like you say, you're walking away from it.
No, not really, because you're not really using the spell.
Like, I mean, you are just
because correct. So when you use it, it only shows you a certain length. So if you don't go towards it, you're not gaining length, which means you're not increasing the effectiveness of the spell. So if you leave from the destination, it's just going to keep showing you the same length, and you're not gaining anything. Obviously, you're getting points for using the spell initially in the first place and continually going, because it's a continuous spell, but it's not as effective. And then you have calm, which is, it needs a target. It thankfully doesn't, it's not an attack one, obviously, so you can just use it on anybody and everybody. You can't use Fury on the general public, because it makes people mad and it's considered an attack.
Yeah, use on because they're always angry anyway.
What's another illusion spell? I can't think of another one right off the top of my head. There's a lot of spells I have to try to remember. But yeah. So the long veiny answer was that, and then the short answer is illusion is the hardest one in my opinion to get leveled. Even with all of the boosts that are available for magic progression. So, but doing what I'm saying of like getting all of the master quest is definitely something I recommend for any magic playthroughs. It's fun. It's definitely fun, and you get very potent or more unique spells at your disposal. Now, keep in mind, if you do go on this endeavor, it is something you need to prep for in the beginning. Like, you need to put a lot of focus into your magic because you need the, like, amount to cast the spell, because these are master spells, so these are, like, the highest cost. So make sure, like, you have enough magicka, and make sure you have like items that reduce whatever school you're focusing in, or in general the amount it costs to cast spells or a magicka boost. And obviously, like, I would recommend like dabbling a little bit in alchemy so that you could get potions as well. You definitely want potions for like restoring your magicka, because even at my level of what I have it at, where I can use like magic, like master level spells like twice, it depends on which one it is, I still like run out. And so like definitely prep for it. Don't just like haphazardly go into it. And also be sure you're going to commit to the magic build. It is definitely one of the hardest play styles of Skyrim, in my opinion, because even if you want to do like, oh, I want to do like straight stealth, or like I want to do like full, if you want to just like fully cap on like one, if you want to like min max, it's still easier than magic because there's not as many factors of points of failure that you have to worry about.
Which
Also,
one reason why I always end up going back to the old reliable stealth archer.
yeah, just good old. Yeah, that definitely is the easiest build. Like, if someone was to ask me, like, as an advice of, like, oh, this is my first time playing, like, what should I do? Archer. Not even stealth archer, just archer. Because
Stealth archer makes it more interesting, though.
it does, but, like, as a first-time thing, you don't want to have to worry about, like, the mechanics of sneaking and how it works, and then, like, you know, focusing your perks on that.
But once you get Elemental Fury, go full dual wield.
And yes, the Mr. Elemental Fury himself right there. Fury's in my name, but he's the one who uses the spell more.
It's such a fun spell.
It was like, to be fair, I use the dragon aspect spell a lot, so I stick to my theme. But with that said, we are going to halt it here for our regular episode. If you would like to join us for the rest of the conversation of what I have available on my list of topics, pop on over to Patreon to get that subscriber episode. It's patreon.com/The Dragon's Den 55. That is patreon.com/The Dragon's Den 55. The link is also in the description of the show, of wherever you're listening. So support us in that. If you can't, or if you're not feeling it, that's okay. You just being here for this one was support enough, and we hope that we can snag you again for another episode. So until then, hasta la bye bye. We'll see you on the next one.
See you.